Welcome back to my book club series, where I share books that have shaped my work and my life. And in this video, I'm going to talk about Stolen Focus, Why You Can't Pay Attention by Johann. This book was recommended to me twice. And as we all know, there is a book rule that if you get recommended a book more than once, then you have to read it. But this book was not what I was expecting. So in this video, I want to share with you my surprising takeaways and what I've learned and integrated so that you might think about adding it to your beach holiday reading list as well, because that's exactly what I did with this. I took it on holiday, so this copy is covered in sand. So let's dive into it. The premise of the book is that the author, Johann, has realised that his attention seems to be wavering a lot more than it used to be. And he believes this is because we are overwhelmed with digital distraction. As an experiment of his own making, he travels off to an island in order to have a complete 3-month digital internet detox. That actually kind of sounds like my version of heaven. But anyway, essentially what Johann does is completely remove any internet from his life for 3 months. So he takes away some style of burner phone, which you can only call. He has a broken laptop that has no internet access. And he also takes his classic iPod in order to listen to music. But again, no Spotify, no internet access. And he also removes the internet access from the property that he's staying in because he really wants to understand, where does our focus go? What has happened to our attention and our focus? So immediately I am hooked because I want to know what is going to happen at the end of this experiment. When I picked up Stolen Focus, I really thought it was going to be that social media is evil and that we need to remove all internet and technology from our lives because it is eroding our brains. That is genuinely where I thought this might take us. And the reason I went down this presumptive route is because I quit Facebook almost 9 years ago, and I quit Instagram last year. And I found it so beneficial to my lifestyle, to my mental health. I just haven't felt any desire or need to use those platforms. So my assumption was that Stolen Focus is going to be a self-help book that helps us to limit or remove social and digital distractions. But it truly is not that book. And if that is the book that you want, there are many other books like that. Actually, this book is truly about focus, about the entire concept of focus and how so many different various areas of our lives and the environment and systems around us are stealing our focus. So in my opinion, this book is a far more in-depth and holistic approach to how we can hone our focus than just any old self-help book. I mean, even the fact that we've had to create self-help books around social media should probably make us question it, don't you think? So next, I really want to talk about the things that resonated with me the most in the book. The collapse of sustained reading was probably a chapter that immediately hit me because one thing that has often riled me up a little bit and got me quite annoyed and irritable is the obsession we have created around speed reading. If you go onto YouTube, the amount of videos that teach people how to speed read is ridiculous, and people bragging about how quickly they can speed read. Well, I felt a certain level of smugness when I read this chapter because Johann has obviously throughout this book spoken to lots of research and experts about reading. And the reality is speed reading is not actually as good for you as properly reading. All the research shows that the faster you speed read something, the less likely you are to understand it. And you're also less likely to be able to grapple with complex or challenging issues. Cognitively, it is really important for us to take our time to read, because then we are sitting with those problems, sitting with the context of what that book or what that passage is saying, and allows us to actually cognitively absorb and challenge and question the things that we're reading. Another highlight of this chapter for me personally was how good it is to read novels. I have a lot of people act quite snobbish when it comes to books, that they only read non-fiction, they only read business books or personal development books. And I love a personal development book as much as the next person. Hello, look at what I share mostly on this book club series. But I do love reading a novel. Novels are a way that I relax, they help me go to sleep. So I was so thrilled to find out that, again, through the research, it turns out that reading novels is also really good for us because it increases our empathy with others. So there we go, guys. Don't just pick up a personal development book, also find yourself a good novel. The second area that really resonated with me within Stolen Focus is this idea of information overload and how we just end up consuming and practically fire hosing ourselves with information on a daily basis. So if you think about how you are constantly consuming information, and don't forget that your brain is not just consuming videos or books or text messages or social media, it's also consuming the world around us. Like, we seem to forget that our brain is also trying to figure out everything else that is going on, and then we are overloading it with information. And I am so guilty of this. I'm guilty of listening to a podcast in the car, of watching YouTube in the bathtub, of listening to an audiobook when I go for a walk. I am just like feeding on all of this information. But one of the big areas that Johann shares within the book is that we have lost our capacity to mind wander, to just daydream and let ourselves ponder and have complete empty space where we're not filling it with information. So this has been something where I could really resonate with, because I was so guilty of constantly fire hosing myself with information. A very real sentiment that Johann shares in the book is this idea of cruel optimism, where so much of the things that we want to change, we are often told to do at an individual level, that it's our problem as the individual that we have to fix. So whether it's the environment, we have to recycle more. Whether it's our weight loss and our health, you have to eat more greens, you have to go to the gym, you have to do 10,000 steps. This is the same problem it comes up with focus and attention, that it's an individual problem, that you have to find the medication, you have to stop going on social media so much. All of this very individualistic pressure that gets put on us, when the reality is we can only do so much. There are only so many things we can change as individuals, because systemically we are surrounded in an environment and a system and with technology that is literally designed to make us do these things. So when we're driving down the motorway, what's available to us? Takeaway, sugar, fast food. And it's the same with the technology. These technologies are literally built and designed to take away our attention. So as much as we can have these personal boundaries, it is a much bigger systemic issue. And I think that's an important thing to remember, because we can be so hard on ourselves when it comes to our personal habits and our personal boundaries. But what we have to remember is we are constantly pushing up against things that are designed to do us harm. And these things aren't going to change because they are making billions from us. Like I said at the start, and hopefully you've got this feeling now, that Stolen Focus is not a self-help book, but it does give you lots of insights into the things that we can be doing, and did really make me think about, with all of this research and data and how it's shaping us, what can I do? What are some of the things that I can do on an individual level to change things? So while it doesn't give any self-help tips or tools or practices, it did for me personally make me think a lot about my technology and the things that do distract me and draw my attention. So I've kind of done a few things that I feel have really helped me remain focused. The first thing is that I am no longer fire hosing myself with information. I am not watching YouTube in the bathtub. and I'm just letting my mind wander on walks. I leave my phone at home because I have the privilege of doing that. So every day when I go for a walk, I'm now leaving my phone at home, and I just get to go and mind wander and be in nature and try to be as fully present as possible. The other action that I've taken is to remove my phone from a lot of my environments most of the time. So I will put it in another room and give myself that opportunity to get into a true flow state. So if there is something that I really need to focus on and need to spend deep work, I will block that out in my calendar. I'll put my phone in the other room and I will purely just focus. The final thing that I do is I have 0 notifications on my social media, and I only check email twice a day. I am not a brain surgeon, I'm a culture coach. Nothing that I do is that extreme that somebody needs me today. And I'm presuming that most of you watching this could probably do the same thing. We just don't need to be so attached to our emails. So I only check my emails at midday, at my lunch break, and at the end of the day, and that is it. So those are the personal actions that I've taken since reading Stolen Focus. I know you're wondering what happens at the end of Johann's internet intervention. What moments of enlightenment does he have? Well, I'm not going to spoil it here. You absolutely have to pick up this book. It begs some serious ethical questions about the platforms we use and the technology that we're starting to integrate. And it is probably one of the most well-researched and data-backed books I have read in a long time. So just like me, I highly recommend that you add this to your holiday reading list wherever you might be going. And if you enjoy my book club recommendations, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time, folks.